Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I have a man, an honorable man, a brave soul, Ukraine, that is going to share with us a lot of insights. This is to expose the magnitude of the lies that's being told to you through the so-called mainstream media, especially the BBC, who are totally and utterly corrupt in everything that they have done. And whatever comes out of these people's mouths are just lies. You cannot even believe if they are talking a fact or a lie. So they are completely being dismissed. Anybody paying TV licenses, like in the UK, as it were, are just paying to be lied. I'm now going to introduce you folks to him. And he's not going to show his face because I didn't want him to show his face. And he is going to move he's going to move the camera to let you people know it is a live feed. And he's going to show you the city, and he's going to show you the insights of what the Ukraine de facto government is also transmitting as so-called warfare, when eyewitnesses, including through Skycam, will reveal that all this is a lie. So, let's hear from the man himself.
Hi, Mark.
Thank you very much for sharing this with us. And can you just move your camera a little bit just to let the audience know this is not a still image?
Yeah, sure can. Okay.
Yeah. And what are we looking at the moment?
You're looking at the skyline of Odessa. Odessa is a seaport down in the south of Ukraine.
Okay. And have you seen any news reports or television reports that there is bombing, shelling, anything of that nature taking place, actually happening, as the newspapers and the television stations are reporting?
That's a big negative.
Okay. Can you talk us through the things that you emailed me about? You know, the warfare, where they're getting these footages from?
Yeah, sure. Okay, for the first week, I thought this was real. I thought, wow, so it's going to be a big war, and I'm, stuck in it. So I spent a lot of time looking at, as everyone else, looking at videos on news and stuff. And yet it wasn't matching, nothing was making sense. Everything was wrong. And I came to realize after 1 week, it's all baloney. Like, there's an artillery gun here in Odessa, a big one. And when it fires, it makes a big boom, and it shakes my windows. Now, I was in the military, and I've fired, mortars, and I have course in, principles of artillery. So I know if you fire once with an artillery gun, you cannot hit anything. You have to have a spotter to walk you onto the target. So this artillery gun is firing once per day for about 4 days in a row. And one shot will not hit anything. So I knew right off something's wrong. They're not trying to hit anything. They're just firing the gun. And I think all this stuff is just to scare people, because I also get SMSs from the government telling you to, don't look out windows. If you see fighting, don't watch them. You're prohibited, actually. It says you're prohibited from watching anybody fighting and from looking out windows and, things like this. And if you see weapons, don't pick them up, which is contrary to what I saw on news saying that the government was giving out guns and stuff to people. They just actually had an SMS saying the opposite. So there's all sorts of, false information out there. In Odessa, it's totally quiet. There has been, as I say, the artillery gun firing. It stopped. Then there's also air raid sirens. Now, here's a good story. I can I vouch for this because I saw it with my own eyes. I was walking down the street Sunday morning, and I saw 4 press guys. They all had press on the back of their jackets, and they're just standing there waiting. And I was thinking to myself, Sunday morning, 4 guys from news, something's up. So I was looking around, I saw nothing. So I kept walking. A few minutes later, I heard an air raid siren. This was new. It never went off before. Suddenly there's a big air raid siren. It's really loud. So those fake news guys were just waiting for the siren to go off, and then they'll start filming. And I noticed too, the presenter, is wearing a big flak jacket and a big helmet. So it's looking like it's a war zone, right? Plus with the air raid siren, that's how they're making all this look like a war zone. I have people I know in Chernigov, Lugansk, and Kiev. And if you go to Chernigov, like Battle of Chernigov, you'll see burning tanks, epic battles. But actually, the person I know there told me the Russian troops are waiting outside the city, waiting. And like that was for 7 days. I haven't contacted her for a while because I know it's fake now. They're just waiting there. There's no battles, there's no fighting. Kiev, there's been some explosions and they're claimed to be from missiles, but no one there sees missiles or anything in the air, which is suspicious. So they could just well be like C4 dynamite being detonated, in different places. And there are gunfire. Like I've heard other people say they hear gunfire here and they saw a missile fly by. So there are things being shot off, but whether, there's nobody getting killed or any of the stuff you see on TV.
In this part of the world and in the US, it's being reported that this is like a war zone, with all the images that you have just said. Now, it sounds like to me they're also not just rehearsing these things for international press. They're also getting the people within these nations, within the Ukraine, to actually believe that the Russians are coming, the commies are coming, the capitalists are coming, the socialists are coming, the boogeyman is coming. How far is my description? How accurate is my description?
I think you're bang on, because it's like a fear campaign. It's like Corona, like on TV, there's all sorts of dead people, but in real life, there's nothing. And it's the same here. People are scared. Like when I walk down the street, I'm always walking around to see what I can see. There's nobody around. They're all hiding in their house. They're afraid. Some even left the country. There's a lot of people. They just left like as refugees to Romania, Moldova, Poland. They're scared.
Because they actually believe the newspapers, the televisions, and the abject, I would like to say propaganda, but it's an absurd level of lies upon lies from the government that is so effective that it actually works on the people.
It's amazing. People I know, like won't contact me anymore because they're mad at me, because I tried telling them, there's nothing going on, just look outside. And they refuse to believe that or even think about it. They just say, no, it can't all be lies.
So look, we know that through movies like Terminator, they got people so frightened as to not to actually think about or going anywhere near artificial intelligence or cameras and so on and so forth. And yet the cameras that are overlooking Ukraine, the cities, are all saying that there is no conflict because we have the live images. And I can qualify that by just showing it to people. This is a live cam footage. Okay. And you can see people walking about. And that's in, I can't pronounce it, but Kiev, I think. So that's that bit. And we have, Skynet, which is the Terminator movie, getting people so frightened so they don't actually even go onto Skynet and check for themselves with the international live cams set up everywhere in Washington, D.C., London, Ukraine, Russia, that all this is just rubbish because the BBC will be transmitting in the same place that the cam is looking at, the international webcams, and all they're doing is just providing fake news. That's all. It's all just rehearsed. And that's what these people are witnessing. Sorry, I beg your pardon. That's what they're witnessing with all of these things. The BBC is reporting this, that there is crisis in Russia. And in a live cam, you can see there is no crisis anywhere. These are things that they can just simply click of a button. They can look anywhere in the world, log in, and you can see that they are lying to people. The point I wanted to make with everybody, you see, in law, we have what is known as eyewitness, an ear witness, a witness to the spirit of things. you folks out there, all 91,000 subscribers, and all the people here watching this are witness to a lie. And because of this, you now have more standing in law than the de facto governments. That's why I'm able to do what I do, and that's why this gentleman is able to do what he's doing, because he knows what his standing is. Look, do you have any more insights that you can share with us?
I think it's just a fear campaign. They have an agenda, you know, all these creepy people in our leadership. They got some goal they want to achieve, and they need everybody scared in order to do it, because it's going to be something very sneaky and underhanded. What that is, you know, remains to be seen. I have my theory anyway.
Okay, would you like to share that theory with us?
I think because, as you know, in contracts, there's a force majeure clause, which means that includes war. So if you have a contract where you owe money, for example, and if there's war, that debt can be forgiven. Am I correct?
Yes, yes. Yeah, all contracts are null and void in times of warfare.
I suspect because I think Ukraine owes about $56 billion, and I'm guessing that debt will be either, you know, forgiven or severely dropped down.
I think I understand. So the purpose of war, we know, is to kill people. And here's the lesson, folks. The identical word for kill is also cull, which means to cull. So when they say killed in battle, they're saying this man, this woman, this baby, this infant, this child was culled by battle. That means that your own government killed you. Culled. That's when there is too much deer in your field, too many squirrels, too many chickens in your farm, and you kill them to keep the numbers down. That is what kill means. That's why they never use the word murder. You was not murdered in a concentration camp. You was not murdered in a battlefield. They use the word cull to signify to the coroner, because this runs out of the county coroner's offices, to say that this man was culled as part of a culling operation by the county coroner's court, by the government, which are all participants in murder. And that's another thing that they're going to try to escape from. So the gentleman is now going to take his camera out before we lose sunlight, and he's going to show us the city that is in the skyline, so you know and I know that he is exactly where he says he is. So please share with us the footage.
And as you see, it's pretty quiet. There's no gunfire or any of that baloney.
What is that building with the dome on there?
That's an embassy.
What embassy is that? You're starting to come in a little bit. Don't show your face, please. I don't want you to show your face. That's fine. So what embassy did you say it was?
Cyprus embassy.
Cyprus embassy. So people can qualify this by just simply looking up on Google, you know, Ukraine Cyprus embassy, and they can see the shape of it. They can see live footages of it, and etc. And also they can log in to these live cams, or what's known as Skycam, and have a look at these embassies to see and qualify for themselves that this is a true skyline. Okay, that is that. Look, there's a few other things you were saying about how they are using footages from the 2014 to 2006 battle that they had. They're just using those footages also to transmit to the world. Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure. Now, most people don't know, but between 2014 and now, in fact, just like a couple of weeks ago, there's been serious artillery firing on Donetsk, and they've leveled a lot of the places in Donetsk. So there's serious battles have been going on there for years and years. And they're just recycling all that stuff, and people don't know because they don't look carefully. They just watch for a few seconds and, they share it with somebody without really looking at it. And this is how the lie is built. People aren't careful. They just have a look at something for a few seconds and they're convinced. And once they're convinced, you have a hard time trying to bring them around.
So the reactionary population, those ones who are actually convinced, are the ones that are actually spreading the bad news. They're the ones that are contaminating other people with these fake news. So this is like a plague. The newspapers and televisions are actually a plague, and a plague needs to be taken out. They need to be removed rather than just, like a psychological virus. The newspapers, television stations, the BBC, they're actually a plague on man.
Well put.
Well, thank you very much. Look, I've got to say, and I'm hoping that everybody can hear you, because they sometimes interfere with transmission. I want to thank you for your bravery. You're not the only one that I have as, in Ukraine. There are other people talking to me, but you're the first one that's agreed to speak to me live as eyewitnesses that we are, now that the whole world listening to this transmission is also eyewitness, and they have a greater standing in law than any body in any government position. That's what I want to make clear to them. Yeah, the power is in your hands. The knowledge is in your hands. You need to go and do something about it. Use your autograph, use your thumbprint. That carries the entire weight of your family and the generations before it. Your thumbprint, your autograph, quite literally carries the entire weight of your body on this earth, and including your ancestry. Yeah, you folks need to learn to use it. Look, thank you very much. I would very much like you to, end this transmission by saying something to the world, because it's you that's putting your position, as it were. It's you that's doing this. You're the one that's bringing this to the world. What do you have to say to the Americans, the Canadians, the Ukrainians, the entire world?
I think that people just have to be more responsible. You have to realize that, TV, it's not to help you. It's not your friend. You have to really look at it as just entertainment. And news is entertainment. It's no different. So you have to assume everything they show you is just like a movie and take it from there. If you think it's real, you're making a serious mistake.
The world is a stage, and we know that these people are operating under a theatre license. The BBC operates under a theatre license, and all newspaper reporters, television crews, all operate under a theatre license. That is why no journalist or any one of these people that have actually taken oath are reporting anything. Only reporters are allowed to report on theatre, because it's all fake news, and that's part of theatre. A journalist has to have an oath, and if his oath is not at hand, and he's not under the penalty of perjury, as we are under the penalty of perjury, or on a geometric level playing field with penalty, looking at us, as it were. They are just all actors, and the whole thing, as the gentleman said, is a theatre production, getting you to believe that it's all real. Thank you very much. You have no idea how appreciative I am.
My pleasure.
And the people here probably want to thank you, in person, as it were. So guys, write it out, put it in the comment box, let yourself be known that you appreciate this, that, what this gentleman has done for us is beyond compensation. Yeah. So, thank you very much. I mean, look, if you need any help, give us a call, okay?
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.